What's up, guys? This is Jeremy with Ghost Nation Barbecue. We are back for another one today. We have got the smoker going. We have got everything set up, and today we are making a pork butt. So settle in, get ready. We're going to go through this thing from start to finish, show you exactly what to do. We're going to get you the best result possible. Stay tuned. All right, guys, today on the channel, we are making a pork butt. So we are gonna go ahead and get after this. I'm gonna start by just scoring it, open it on up. So pork butt is one of my favorite cuts of meat, okay? So the reason that we like pork butt so much, A, it's delicious, obviously. Let's get this out of the bag here. All right, so we got the pork butt out. First thing that we are gonna do is get rid of that, and we are going to pat this thing dry. So the reason I picked the pork butt today, a couple reasons. One, this is the first barbecue video on this channel, so I wanted to go with something that is going to be great for everybody to do. Now, pork butt can be a fantastic cut of meat for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is not very expensive. So if you are new to barbecue, you don't want to start with a brisket, man. You mess up a brisket, you're messing up sometimes 75, 85, 100 bucks even. So, you know, if we are new here, we don't want to start off with the most expensive cut of meat. So what I like to do is do a pork butt. This gives you a few things that are invaluable. Number one, gets you a chance to learn your smoker. So gives you a chance to run a cook that's going to take 8, 10, 12 hours so that you can really get a feel for how your smoker runs. And the great thing about this is it is a super forgiving cut of meat. So if your temp drops down a little bit, not a problem. If your tip goes up a little bit, also not a problem. This thing is going to be very resilient. So it is super hard to mess up a pork butt. And if you look, not a whole lot of butchery required on this thing. So there's gonna be a couple little things here and there. I mean, you can go through and pick off some of these pieces of fat if you want to, but none of this is really that big a deal. So the great thing about this is you can kind of pop this thing open and get after it. We got a little fat cap here. I like the fat cap. It's gonna kind of, I feel like, melts into the meat a little bit. It's been a little, got shaved a little close here, but that's okay. Not a problem. So I'm gonna start on the bottom side, and we are just gonna season this thing up. So I have here a mix that I make, very, very standard mix here. So everything that I do, every rub that I make is going to start with SPG. Salt, pepper, garlic. I think, in my opinion, that's the basis of any good barbecue rub is SPG. A lot of times I'll only do SPG, but on pork, I like to add a couple more things here. We like our pork kind of sweet. So I add a little brown sugar to that mix. And then I actually add a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of paprika as well. I just like the color it gives. So we're gonna season this thing generously. All right, this is a big cut of meat. I think this one's just shy of 8 pounds. That's a lot of meat. You're gonna have to work pretty hard to over season this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this seasoned all over, all the sides. I'm seasoning everything. Go heavy on this. I promise you it is not gonna be too much. I've done a ton of pork butts. I don't think I've ever over salted anything. So my mix, when I make up a barbecue blend like this, I use pretty much the same blend every time. So I do 2 parts of black pepper and 1 part of kosher salt and half a part of garlic powder. Okay, pretty much I learned that from Chud's Barbecue. I don't know if you've ever seen that channel. If you haven't, go check it out. It is my favorite barbecue channel. So that's his blend. He does 2 parts black pepper, 1 part kosher salt, half part of garlic powder. So when I do this rub, I'll also go in with about 1 part, about the same amount of salt of brown sugar when I'm doing a pork rub, just because, like I said, I like our pork to be a little bit sweet. We think that that's a pretty good combo. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all seasoned up. We'll get the pit fired up and ready to go, and we'll be back soon. Time to get the pit fired up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a ripping hot chimney of charcoal. I'm gonna pour this right into my smoker. Get this pulled over, and now when I'm starting this up, I want this to be ripping hot. That's gonna get my fire going the best. So I'm gonna take a thicker piece of wood here, put it down like that. Take two. Lay it over the top. All right, guys, once this smoker is up to temp, we're gonna go ahead and put this pork butt on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab it, put it right here, kind of centered up. This is a bone-in pork butt, which I would definitely recommend doing. I'm gonna put the bone towards the fire, and I got my water pan up and running. So let's get this thing shut down, and we will see you in 6 or 7 hours. Alrighty, guys, so we have been running this for about 2 hours. We're gonna take our first look. Now, we've been going about 275 the whole time. And oh yeah, look at this thing. So this is really starting to get some good color on it. We are gonna go, another 4 or 5 hours on here before we wrap or do anything. At this point, we just want to check and make sure that everything looks good. Sorry, that sun's not giving me a great shot, but this thing is looking perfect, exactly where we want to be. So we will check back in a few hours. All right, so about this point, we're like 6.5 hours in. I just temped this, and we are sitting at about 175 internal. So a lot of times you'll see this fat split up here, which it hasn't done on this one. I don't mind that, but at about 175, 180, I'm gonna go and take this thing off. We're gonna get it wrapped up, and we're gonna get it back on to finish. Now that we've taken this off, we're gonna get it wrapped up, and we're gonna get it put back on the smoker to finish cooking. What I've done here is I've got some foil set up, and I put a few pads of butter and a little bit of brown sugar on here. Now this is not a necessity, and if I was doing this for some other recipe, say I wanted to do like some pulled pork tacos or something like that, I wouldn't do this sweeter flavor profile. For what we're doing the traditional barbecue style pulled pork. I want it to be a little bit sweet, so I got some extra brown sugar there and a few pads of butter, and we're just gonna get this thing wrapped up. We're gonna get her back on, and she should probably be finished in a couple of hours. So we're gonna get it wrapped up and put back on, and we will see you soon. So we are right at about 10 hours into this cook. We're gonna give it one final check here. I know it's a little bit dark, sorry about that. Gonna give it a look with our thermometer. We are sitting at about 202, 203. That is perfect. Anywhere between about 200 and 205 is where I'm gonna pull it. So I'm gonna take this thing off, we're gonna let it rest for a while, and then we will dive on in. So after 10 hours on the smoker and resting for about another hour, this thing is finally ready. Went a little longer than some of my butts do, but that's pretty standard time there. So we have got this thing out and in a foil pan. Now the first thing that we're gonna do is pull the bone out. So this is gonna let you know right away how well you cook this thing. So if it slides out like that, super clean, this thing's perfect. It is perfectly done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna start shredding it up. I'm gonna start pulling it apart a little bit. Man, this thing, it is still hot. It's been resting for an hour, but it is still nice and hot. So what I like to do is just get up in here and kind of shred them apart. I like these long, stringy strands of it. So we're gonna finish up, get this pulled, and just kind of toss it in these juices. And boy, this thing is almost ready to go. Damn, that's good. All right, so we're gonna do what we came here to do, which is make a pulled pork sandwich. So I'm gonna start off with some of my homemade barbecue sauce. I will make a video one of these days on this sauce. We love it, and I think you guys will really like it. I'm gonna take some of this pulled pork. I'm gonna try to get some with the bark in there, some of the little fattier cuts, some of the stringier cuts. We're gonna get it all on there. All right, build a nice little pile. Perfect. And then I'm going to get some pickled red onions that we made as well. Put some of the onions on there and a couple of these pickled jalapenos as well. Get that put on. A little bit more of our sauce. Perfect. All right, guys, we got this big, beautiful mound of pulled pork. Got our sandwich made up. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Yeah. Yeah, these are definitely gonna work. Guys, pulled pork is the way to go if you're new to barbecue or you just want something great. Super easy, turns out awesome every single time. And yeah, we are all set. All right, guys, stay tuned for more. Please give me the like, comment, subscribe. You know everything every YouTuber says. And have a good night.